I'm sorry. WWE didn't need Pat McAfee in this story at all. They've made a very big mistake. The story between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton was already working. They didn't need the inclusion of Pat McAfee. They didn't need it. And they're subtly already explaining the reason why they're doing this. They know they've made a very big mistake. The crowd was already invested in Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. And they already set the seed for this. Because they already had Aleister Black trying to get into Randy Orton's head. Randy Orton, we all know he wants number 15. He's seen John Cena get number 17. His mentor, Ric Flair, is at 16. He wants to at least get to 16. And now with Cena hitting 17, he definitely wants to surpass John Cena, or at least tie John Cena. So with Aleister Black already getting in his head, the story was already pretty much written, and one where everyone was already pretty invested. At least I know I was. And with Cody Rhodes, I feel like you could slowly start to see him become more desperate into keeping hold of that WWE Championship. And remember that scene in the locker room when Randy Orton was sitting next to Cody Rhodes and he was staring at the WWE Championship? It wasn't a case of if, it was a matter of when Randy would listen to the voices in his head. He didn't need Pat McAfee to tell him, go with it, you need to save the business. What needed saving? The business or the voices in Randy Orton's head that would allow him to get number 15? Is Pat basically saying that the only way the business will be saved is if Randy Orton becomes world champion again? I mean, how does that make any sense? When Randy Orton in the past was a champion for a long period of time, the crowd ultimately gets bored. They really do. Again, that's talking from the fans' perspective. We're talking from a storyline perspective. Randy Orton actually was very boring as a world champion back then. And sure, he might be motivated now. I don't think that Randy Orton becoming world champion is really going to change anything for the business. So the question becomes, what is Randy Orton's actual motive? Is it one or is it more than one at this point? Pat McAfee actually makes the situation 10 times worse. It really does. Now, we know why he was included. Apparently, it had something to do with Ari Emanuel thinking he could be the next Sylvester Stallone. But no, I don't think it was that at all, to be honest with you. Because WWE was aware the story was working, but they just got desperate, and that's what it ultimately comes down to. They got super desperate. Super, super desperate. How desperate? Well, just look back at SmackDown from this week, and you'll see there's a 25%. Just look back at SmackDown from this week. There is a 25% flash sale until, what was it, Monday? That's what it was. They thought adding Pat McAfee into this equation was going to somehow shift a lot of tickets. There's so many ways I believe they could have gone about shifting tickets. They're very expensive tickets to the crowd. And it could have just been the case of tensions boiled over between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. I think I know why. The Pat McAfee situation happened, and I think it's very obvious why we're seeing so many celebrities on TV. So the real reason we're seeing all of these celebrities on TV, yes, it is mainly because of the struggling ticket prices. We're all aware of it. Everyone's talking about it. Heck, WWE is even talking about it. I'm starting to wonder if they're trying to get the casual wrestling fans, or maybe people who don't like to watch wrestling at all. I'm wondering if they're trying to get those individuals to see their favorite media personality, actress, artist on television. I wonder if they're trying to take advantage of the fact that because these celebrities will be at WrestleMania, they're hoping that the casual fan will invest in a WrestleMania ticket because of that reason, because they are very aware that we're not happy. Instead of asking us or trying to convince us to buy the tickets, they're trying to get everybody else who are not diehard wrestling fans, or not really casuals, I'd say, but they're not super diehard either. They're trying to get these individuals to buy tickets, and they're trying to just rely simply on the people who don't really watch wrestling at all. And this is why we're seeing all of these celebrities pop up everywhere. Jelly Roll, I know he's had a match there, but he's not a wrestler. Lil Yachty, and so forth and so forth. This is why we're seeing it. WWE knows that the casual fans are simply just going to react to a name, and this is the reason why we're seeing the Pat McAfee situation. But it's not like he's the largest name in the world, but for some reason, I think TKO assumes that he's the only one that understands the business enough to generate enough attention, not only in the wrestling world, but also in the football world, in the normal world. I'm not even gonna lie to you. In doing all this, they ruined what easily could have been a very, very, very clean story. One that they spent quite a while setting up. One where, if done correctly, could have got Aleister Black over, because what's he done? He's almost taken the role of Karrion Kross. It's slightly tweaked. It could have helped him in a massive way. This was a very clean story. I would have been absolutely happy with a simple heel turn at WrestleMania, or maybe a heel turn 1 week before WrestleMania. Just imagine that. Imagine if Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton walk into WrestleMania, they have a clean, tightly contested match with a lot of back and forths, and they build this big tension point, and somebody makes the turn. I think people would have been satisfied. Now, sure, does that sell tickets leading into WrestleMania? No, but what they could have done was they could have did things in a way that made you question who might potentially turn at WrestleMania, and fans might have tuned in. But what doesn't fix the situation is these ridiculous ticket prices. But hey, there's a flash sale. I don't know what the ticket prices are, but if you saved up enough money and you still want to go to WrestleMania, you've got a massive reduction. Thanks, Pat. Thanks for saving the business. You've just reduced the ticket prices. But if you really wanted to save the business, why don't you speak to your agent and tell your agent that the prices overall can no longer stay up? Don't just give us a flash sale. Make that permanent adjustment. But if you can't, you're not exactly saving anything. And if you were smart, you wouldn't be in the main event picture, but you would know that if you knew how to save the business. So simply put, they made a simple story overly complicated, and they're making their weekly SmackDown broadcastings even more pointless. Doesn't make any sense, because we all know we're not going back to the Attitude Era, so Pat doesn't have to come on to television every single week and flip the crowd off and curse. And maybe they couldn't get The Rock this year, but they're trying to recreate exactly what they did when The Rock came in to fight Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes along with Roman Reigns by side at WrestleMania. They're trying to do that, but they can't get The Rock in. So what they're doing is they're trying to recreate the whole scenario again. What did The Rock do after Mania? Did he stay? Did he continue the story? No, he disappeared, so it was pointless. And let's circle back to Pat McAfee's comment about saving the business. What they had already didn't need fixing, but what they did do is they just proved that WWE didn't trust the performers. They didn't trust Cody, and they didn't trust Randy. That's my perspective. But overall, if you want to talk the truth, WWE just doesn't trust their own process to book, and somebody has to take the blame for that. So what I want to know is, am I wrong here? Does this feel forced to you? Did WWE overcomplicate it? Do you actually agree with the direction of where things are going right now?